Perk, what does Golden State have to fix in order to avoid being in the play-in a year removed from winning it all?
Well, it's not what they have to fix. You do know is that it's Ash Wednesday today, and it's about, celebrating right Jesus Christ. And they're going to have a coming to Jesus meeting. See, when I said this early in the season about the Draymond punch, the Jordan Poole, how that affected the team, that's what we're seeing right now. And that's why the Warriors has been so inconsistent, because it's hard for Draymond, who was the leader of their locker room, to get back to being that leader again, because now all of a sudden he has to gain the respect of others. They have to have that hash it out moment, and guys have to be stars in their role. Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins was huge, but they got a big payday. They have to go back into taking a lesser role and remember that this is Steph and Clay team and that they come second to them.
And not for nothing, it seemed like a good plan coming in. It seemed like the Warriors were prepared to contend now and also set up the future. But, because they kind of had two units, the core legend, vet guys, and then those younger guys. And they gave up pieces that were more veteran, that were helpful in the championship run, like you said last year, like Gary Payton Jr. They gave that up.
Otto Porter.
And feeling that, all right, well, we're going to open that space up for our young guys to step in and move forward. And it really hasn't panned out. And, it's funny, like, to your point about, okay, well, the young guys just got to play free and have fun. It's a tough situation to do that on the Warriors.
With the regular season quickly approaching its end, the Golden State Warriors are hanging on by a thread in the ultra-competitive playoff race in the West. And with pretty stacked teams trailing them from behind like the Clippers, Mavericks, Timberwolves, and Lakers, there's a high chance that the Dubs will slide down between the 6th and 10th spots, since Steph Curry's health is still going to be a big question mark moving forward. And on top of this, GP2 hasn't been back yet in the lineup. Draymond Green is also hurting with a knee injury, Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson are playing inconsistent as of late, and their young guns like Moody and Kuminga are not stepping up to a level that the Dubs have hoped for. Now, with all these lingering issues considered, the Warriors might just barely make it to the play-in tournament. And although I'm not trying to sound pessimistic by totally counting out the Warriors at this point of the season, I think we should be open to the idea that the Dubs might just miss the playoffs entirely with all the issues surrounding them right now. Plus the fact that they've had to go through super stacked teams in the West. Now, when Warriors GM Bob Myers was asked if the Warriors can weather this storm and somehow miraculously pull this one through, here's his honest and straightforward response.
Well, we're going to find out. I mean, it doesn't matter what I think. I mean, the team's the team now, so you hope you get healthy and find out. I just love professional sports in the playoffs because it all gets answered. This isn't some subjective Grammy Awards or Oscars where you think you got screwed. If you lose, you weren't good enough, and if you win, you were. The hardest thing for us to evaluate, if you're asking me, is health. Right? If you're healthy in the playoffs, pretty healthy, and we weren't even really healthy last year because Curry was coming in, but we were able to weather that. But we lost Peyton for a little bit in the later rounds, able to overcome that. And the truth about our team in many of the years past is Curry and even when we had Durant, they missed entire playoff series, and we won. So that's a huge margin for error. But to answer your question, that's the thing you find out, because in the playoffs there's no resting. You're getting maximum effort. You're getting maximum effort from the coaching staff. You're attacking matchups. You're finding all the weaknesses. Not indifferent than any sport. I mean, in baseball playoffs, all of a sudden, it's 2-1, and the pitcher's going 8 innings instead of 6, and you're pinch hitting and trying to find every tiny angle. You see in the playoffs, 39 minutes instead of 33. It's a huge difference to have a star on the floor for that amount of time. But I shouldn't be talking about the playoffs as if that's preordained. We got to get to the playoffs before any of those questions are answered, and hopefully have a good seed. And that's the focus for the next, 24 games.
It's good to hear that the Dubs aren't throwing in the towel just yet, and based on what Bob Myers said, they're going to fight it out, come hell or high water. and I think that's the best way to end their season no matter what happens to them in April. Now, assuming that the Dubs don't make it to the playoffs this year, here are some interesting scenarios that could happen to them in the offseason. The Dubs are above 500 at the time of this video, but remember guys, I'm assuming here that the Warriors aren't able to turn things around and decide to join the race to the bottom in the hopes of getting a high pick in this year's stacked draft class, which includes Victor Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson. The Warriors will likely fall around the 15th to 16th pick based on the current team standings, and according to this graphic, the Dubs will only have a 0.5% chance of landing the top pick next year, which is pretty bad odds, even if there's still a slim chance mathematically speaking. And as I've said earlier, the Dubs have no choice but to just play it out and let the chips fall where they may.
It's not impossible for them to sneak into the play-in game. But even if they don't, I think he would want his organization to make the most honest effort, because they can't tank enough to get a great percentage in the lottery.
So you might as well go for it.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to deliberately lose a bunch of games so that you can have a 12% chance rather than an 8% chance?
Since the Wembanyama sweepstakes are already out of the equation for the Dubs, here's another major concern that they're gonna face this offseason.
To me, is Draymond Green gonna opt out at the end of this year? I have no idea.
Okay.
No idea. Okay. So this might be Draymond Green's last year with the Warriors.
Could be.
Could be. He may be leaving at the end of the year. We don't know.
That's real talk.
Somebody needs to ask Draymond Green right now if he's planning on opting out or not.
While there's still no clear answer on this one, Draymond kind of touched on this matter when he was asked about it in a presser a few months ago. And when a reporter asked him if the Warriors are going to extend his contract, he was like,
I don't think it will happen. And so for me, I'm just focused on this season and as you know, being as great as I can be and as I know I'm capable of being, and winning another championship and reaching my individual goals that I have as well. You know, I think that's my main focus. Contract situations, contract years, that is a part of this league. I think it weighs on everyone differently. I think the way a contract situation would weigh on me is totally different than the way it would weigh on a Jordan Poole, who's never signed a big contract, you know? And so I think all of that matters as well, you know, when you're in different positions of your career and you know, like, all right, you have security or you don't. And, you know, I think all of those different things plays a part into how one may react to being in a contract year. And so, to each his own. And, you know, some people are motivated by contract years. Some people are nervous to struggle during contract years. I think it's all based on the player. For me personally, I think for me, anytime in the contract year is motivation, you know, and that's kind of how I approach it. That's how I view it. And it's always been the way I viewed it.
According to several reports, Draymond was asking for a max contract. But the thing is, the Dubs have no plans of offering him one just yet. Now, one of the reasons why they can't make the offer is because of their current financial situation. With all the major moves that they pulled in the last couple of seasons, the Dubs have paid a huge amount of luxury tax just to get their pieces together, and because of this, their hands are kinda tied up right now when it comes to making some roster-related decisions. See, Klay has 2 years left on his deal, which sums up to around $80 million plus over the next 2 seasons. Andrew Wiggins is also entering the final year of his max extension, which he signed with the Timberwolves back in 2017. And with the way Jordan Poole has shown signs of all-star potential last season and this year, JP3 already got that bag this past summer when he signed his new monster deal, keeping him with the Warriors for years to come. With this being said, the Warriors have to make a big decision on whether they're going to keep the main core intact or let Draymond go. and build towards the future by going all in with Wiggins and Poole instead. Now, should the Warriors let him explore the market by the end of the season? Let's now take a look at some possible replacements for Draymond by running down some of the big names that are going to be available this upcoming summer. Anyways, first off the list is Kristaps Porzingis. With the way things are trending for the Wizards this season, it's highly possible that KP will be doing some window shopping this offseason, and with his skill set, I think he can fit in nicely in the Bay Area. The Warriors have always lacked a big man who can score, and the addition of Porzingis could be the solution to this long-time problem. This season, Porzingis has been averaging 22.8 points, 8.6 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks, while shooting almost 55% from the field and 37.6% from downtown. Because of his shooting ability, the defense will be forced to extend beyond the three-point line, which is not the case if Draymond is out there, cause the opposing team will just let him shoot all day. And along with the Splash Brothers, the Dubs are going to have another shooter that can operate at the block as well as act as a floor spacer whenever Steph or Clay attacks the rim. Anyways, the next big name free agent that I think will be a good replacement for Draymond is Brook Lopez. Defense is the number one problem of the Dubs this season, and what better way to solve this than bringing in a premier rim protector who's averaging 2.4 blocks a ball game, which, by the way, currently ranks third in the league. Aside from this, he can also deal some damage on the other end, as he's currently averaging 14.7 points a ball game while shooting 51% from the field and 37.7 from three. The Splash Bros working alongside the Splash Mountain would definitely be must-see TV with three-point bombs that they could rain down in each game. But among all the big names available in the upcoming free agency market, I think Jeremy Grant would definitely be the best fit for the Warriors. Just like Draymond, Grant is an all-around energy guy with plenty of upside, especially on the offensive end, and he's also a versatile player who can either play the wing or big man position. So far this season, Grant has been averaging 20.7 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 2.3 assists, while shooting 48% from the field and almost 40% from three. And he would definitely fit well alongside Wiggins, JP3, and the Splash Brothers in the new version of their death lineup with this ability to play on both ends of the floor. Now, since we've already covered the Draymond situation, let's now talk about the player that the Dubs need to keep for the next season. Aside from Draymond, Dante DiVincenzo also has a player option in his contract, and I think he's one of the guys that the Dubs should re-sign next year because of the underrated value that he brings to the team. He's averaging 9.5 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 3.3 assists, and even though his production isn't that eye-popping, the little things that he does, such as the hustle play on defense, making timely passes and other stuff that you don't usually see in the stat sheet, has been really vital for the Dubs' run this season. In short, DiVincenzo makes winning plays every time he's on the court, and I think the Dubs will definitely need his services as they bounce back stronger next season.